Today I'm going to talk about AC/DC, Let There Be Rock. Or am I? I hope to. And I'm going to start with some more Amazon crap. I'm not sure which album I'm going to do. I guess by the time you see this, you're going to know what it was, but I don't know. Now what happened was, and I've got it here, this is supposed to be LTBR, Let There Be Rock, but it's amazing how much stuff on Amazon there is that's incorrect. So I went to buy this, and it was a decent price. And here it is, if you want to see. There it is, right? Now, do you see the problem? Eagle-eyed viewers will see immediately what the problem is. The problem is it says, if you want blood, but the picture is Let There Be Rock. And then if you open it, it says again here, if you want blood, and it's the Let There Be Rock album cover. But then if you scroll down, it shows the track listing for now this confused me more. It has the track listing for Go Down, Doggy Dog, Let There Be Rock, Bad Bill Boogie, Problem Child, Overdose, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, Whole Lotta Rosie. That's Let There Be Rock. Now for some reason there's also, it says Let There Be Rock again at number 9 and Rocker number 10. But I read some of the reviews and they all said, not all, but some of them said, now this guy posted a review and he posted a picture of Let There Be Rock. And a couple of other people said, Let There Be Rock is one of AC/DC's greatest album, and I love Dog Eat Dog. And so I thought, all right, it's another Amazon mistake. There are a lot of them. So which is right, the picture or the album title? I went with the picture. So I'm going to open up and see. Now, if you look at, if you actually search for, if you want blood. This phone is so slow. This is my old phone. No. If you search for Let There Be Rock. Oh my God. Now this one shows Let There Be Rock title, and if you want blood, you've got it, album cover. So it's obviously a mistake. So I'm going to open up right now. I hope it's Let There Be Rock, because to be honest, I'm not prepared to talk about if you want blood, you've got it. I'm not even sure if I'm prepared to talk about that Let There Be Rock. But the mystery is about to be solved. Predictions. And then I have to think, if it is. If you want blood, do I keep it? Do I send it back? I've mentioned several times it's a pain in the ass. God, it's really hot today too. It's 36 degrees outside today, and I have no air conditioning, and I have my windows closed now to do this video, so it's quite hot today. If it is the album that I don't want, which is If You Want Blood, do I send it back? Do I just say whatever and keep it? I'll see. Any predictions? This is your last chance. I think, and the reason I bought it was because I thought it's going to be Let There Be Rock. Let's see. Is it in a box inside? I won't see. I won't look. No, okay, so it is just a record. Man, you know what? Look at this. I still don't know. You know what it is now. They don't put any packing in here, no, whatever. So I'm going to reach in. Is it Let There Be Rock, or is it If You Want Blood? I'm going to look right now. Hey, it is Let There Be Rock. So I was correct in predicting Amazon's mistake. All right, and I never had, is it in, man, look at this. I don't know if you can see, unbelievable. Amazon is so shitty. Look at this fucking crease here. Man, the more I look at that, I don't know if you can see the crease in it there, and then on the other side, what garbage. You never know what to expect with Amazon. Some of them they pack in like huge boxes. Some of them they don't pack in any box at all. Sometimes in envelopes, not padded envelopes, but just envelopes. This one they put in a proper box, but they didn't put any of that, whatever they call it, airspace, whatever it's called. Unbelievable. This is quite creased. All along here, it looks like a river flowing through a delta. All along here, I can feel it. You'll maybe be able to see it better once I remove this cellophane. What garbage. All right, so before I get to track by track, I'll have a little bit to say about AC/DC. This is the first Bon Scott record that I've talked about. I talked about, and when I say first, that's an indication that I'm going to talk about more. And I did Back in Black last week, and I'm trying to save other things to say about other AC/DC albums, or to say about other things to say about AC/DC when I do the other albums. I hated Bon Scott era AC/DC for the longest time. It's only been in somewhat recent years that I've not just changed my mind, but like really, I was, what the hell was I thinking? Not liking and even hating, especially Bon Scott era AC/DC. It's way better than Brian Johnson era overall. And I went back some years ago and got all these classics, High Voltage and this and Powerage and Dirty Deeds and whatever. Highway to Hell, I got them all on CD and now the records. So I've never had this on record before. There's only one Bon Scott era AC/DC album that I had on record, and it was not this. Now this album cover, I don't know, I hate it and love it. I always thought it looked like a live album. When I saw this album when I was a kid, because I was very aware of it, I saw that, 10, 11, 12. I saw this in record stores and I knew this, and I think I thought it was a live album. Similar to Black Sabbath Volume 4 with Ozzy like this, it looks like a live album. Soundgarden, Louder Than Love, that cover looks like you'd think it's a live album, but it's not. And is it embossed? No, it's not embossed. No hype sticker, it's just bent. I'm not sure where I would rank this in, I can use it as a fan, that works well. I'm not sure where I would rank this in the pantheon, is that the word? And it's also creased at the top too. This looks like it's 30 years old, this record. I don't know where I would put this. It could be my favorite. It could be my fifth favorite. I'm really not sure. And also, again, that picture on the back makes it look like a live album. And I'll talk more about why I didn't like AC/DC Bon Scott era when I talk about another album of theirs. Again, just to stretch it out so I don't do too much all at once. So I guess I'll open this now and then really see the damage done. And you know what? The day after I ordered this, when I checked to see when it was coming, you know what? This is starting to make sense now. It said that this was, the price had gone up and it was no longer available through Amazon, but through a secondary market. And that was A2Z Blu-ray. If you remember my Kiss Animalized record that I had the same problem with, it was all cracked and bent on the, not cracked, but bent on the corners. So this might have been A2Z to send that, although I thought that was an American company, but this came from Mexico. This, let me see. Yeah, this came from Mexico. So I'm not sure if that's two from A2Z Blu-ray on Amazon, but if it is, God, what a, I said it before, what a shitty company or shitty seller they are. And by the way, I left a review of that Animalized record that was all bent and creased and everything, and I said that it was shipped just like this, well, with the cellophane. There, can you see now the crease? And there also, I don't know how the light is reflecting it. And here, look at here too. really bad. I was saying something, now I can't remember what. All right, so there it is. So I'll open it up. This will be my first time seeing, this is the same as Back in Black that I did last week. This is a kind of a liner notes and everything. No lyrics or anything. I don't know what it had originally, but I like this. This is the same. I think this is the same as what the CD had. And the record looks like, if the record itself is not damaged, there it is, nice and shiny. All right. Now this AC/DC had a weird discography because their early albums, the up to, I guess, through Highway to Hell, or maybe Powerage, they had different, especially they had different versions. They had their Australian ones, and then I guess they came out in a different form in the US. Very, very confusing. This one has Problem Child as the opener on side 2. Now, Problem Child, I knew it previously from Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. So when I got these on CD some years ago and downloaded them all, I downloaded the Australian version, which had, instead of Problem Child, it had Crapsody in Blue. And I'll maybe when I get to that, I'll add that in, because I want to talk about Crapsody in Blue. So going through this track by track now, and I really like this album a lot. I don't know what I was thinking, that I was poo-pooing Bon Scott era AC/DC. Maybe my biggest musical blunder that I've ever had. The thing that I was most wrong about. And that doesn't happen very often. So the first song is Go Down, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good opening song. It's got that it's got the classic AC/DC feel. All these songs, every AC/DC song has a classic AC/DC feel. Their songs really do sound the same. Up until some years ago, I was not super familiar. Actually, I didn't know a lot of their Bon Scott era songs. I'm still not super familiar. I know them all, but I'm not super familiar with them. And when I find myself doing sometimes, I'll get a song stuck in my head. And I think, oh yeah, I love that song, I want to hear it. And then I play it, I think, no, that's not the song I had in my head. Their songs really do sound the same. I know it's a cliche, but it really is true. Like I have, and I think, oh yeah, Rock and Roll Singer, I want to hear Rock and Roll Singer. And then I put Rock and Roll Singer on, I think, no, that's not the song I had in my head. That was High Voltage or something like that. So I do have a little bit of problem with AC/DC. I mean, thinking of the song titles. But yeah, Go Down is classic AC/DC. Dog Eat Dog, I love that. Now I have to make sure that's the one. It's a dog. The driving drums in that one. Not familiar. Maybe you'll be happy to know that I'm not super familiar with the lyrics, so I won't be doing any recitals of them, or not too much anyway. Maybe I should just stop with the reciting of lyrics, but sometimes I can't help myself. Next is Let There Be Rock, and I would say that Let There Be Rock maybe is my favorite AC/DC album out of all of them. Brian Johnson, Bon Scott era. Man, Let There Be Rock, and I've said this before, I think that was that like proto thrash? It's not true thrash, no, it's not like, Slayer, Angel of Death or anything like that. It's not that fast, but it really has that real thrash energy and aggressiveness to it. And I love similar to, I talked about this with Van Halen's version of You Really Got Me a couple of weeks ago, whenever that was. Those little fills, that's like in Let There Be Rock. The I love that song. It's just the bass driving through the verses, and it's kind of a long. It's 6.5 minutes. There's no time listed on the jacket. I think it's a little bit of a long one, isn't it? 6.5? 6:06. And I love everything about it. That kind of bluesy guitar solo. Let There Be Rock is, and I would say it's their signature song. And you know what? I've never seen AC/DC live. Maybe I'll talk about that more in another video when I talk about AC/DC, but never saw them live. But I think Let There Be Rock is one of the few. I don't know how many Bon Scott era songs that they do in the Brian Johnson era. I'm not sure. And then Bad Boy Boogie, one of at least two that I can think of off the top of my head that Motley Crue stole the song title of. Bad Boy Boogie and Live Wire. Live Wire is on, well, it's alive. That's on Powerage, right? Live Wire is on Powerage. Bad Boy Boogie, it's another. It's got that AC/DC. Impossible not to move your head or tap your feet or do something when you listen to AC/DC. On side 2, Problem Child. Now, maybe I'll talk about Problem Child more when I talk about Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. So I'll talk more about Crab City in Blue. I love that song, and I probably shouldn't. Those are the kind of AC/DC songs that I hated when I hated the Bon Scott era. Like the slow kind of bluesy ones, Ride On, and the Jack. I hated the Jack. Hated Ride On. And I'd never heard Crab City in Blue until 5-6 years ago, and I love it. Disgusting lyrics, horrible lyrics. When they when you start to scratch is when they start to hatch, and when you start to scream is when you put on the cream. Just horrific. Gives me the heebie-jeebies, the lyrics of that song. But I love Bon Scott's vocal. I love the melody. When you start to scratch is when you start to scratch is when they start to hatch. I love that the vocal melody. I think that's much better with Problem Child. Now, in terms of the timeline, I guess this is the U.S. version, and again, I can't remember because it was so hard to. Problem Child, and I think the version of Problem Child on Dirty Deeds, I think, is different than this. One of them, I'm not sure which one, had a kind of a tag or a coda on the end of it. It extended it by 20 or 30 seconds. But when I listen to this album, the version I listen to is with Crab City in Blue, not Problem Child. Overdose is next. That's a great song, very aggressive. I think this album has great sound, maybe their best sounding album, although there's not too much difference in sound of AC/DC albums. I love that, that intro, that kind of, I guess it's like clean guitar or clean picking, but it still has that AC/DC kind of something about it. There's something about it, and then when it comes in, and at the same time there's a chord, and then the chord stop, and then both guitars are. Overdose is probably my second favorite on this one. Let There Be Rock, I think I have to say, is number 1, and Overdose is great too. Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be. I put that in the category with Go Down and Dog Eat Dog and Bad Boy Boogie, just great AC/DC songs. And then the last one is another one I used to hate. I couldn't stand Whole Lotta Rosie in the 80s when I was a kid and a teenager. Hated Whole Lotta Rosie. I just hated that kind of boogie woogie. Couldn't stand it. And I love it now. Something happened to me, and I think I know what it is. What kind of got me into AC/DC, and I think I'll save that for another episode. There was, I think, a certain thing, a band that kind of made me realize how good classic AC/DC is. Yeah. So that's all for Let There Be Rock. Not If You Want Blood. I guess if I want If You Want Blood, I would have to order Let There Be Rock. Thanks, Amazon, for making my life that much more difficult. So that's it. More AC/DC coming up. I don't think it'll be the next one. I kind of have to do these when I feel like I was going to talk about. Yeah, I was gonna do Dirty Deeds first, but I just got this yesterday, and I was anxious to make sure that it was the right album, and it turns out that it was. So now I feel that I'm free to do them in whatever order I want. I'm bungling this. I think the heat is causing my brain to short circuit. But that's all for Let There Be Light. Let there be sound. No, let there be sound. Let there be light. Let there be drums. Let there be guitar. Let there be rock.